Out here, Trip getting hit once or twice. Giza is gonna try and toss a nade out and bank it. Does land right on top of Trip. Whale picks up Lucian. Whale's here looking for McEvans. He goes down, and just like that, Dead Logic looking at a real cap opportunity. They could come up 3-2 here if Whale can punch in the code fast enough. A killer's on the backside.
Whale's calling for the numbers. Can Kija stop him? Whale is tucked in behind the thing, and Dead Logic do pick up the cap.
It's your man, Pooh Nanners, your Texas caster and hype master.
I'm Nightfire. Thank you for having me, Poon. I'm excited to get into some replays today.
Yes, we need all the help we can get here on the show, and it's always good to have Nightfire here, a fellow man of above too much height, just right below the doors. We're going to jump right into these Challenger Cup matches with a round run, starting off with Idiots with Guns versus our director's teams, Cats and Hats.
Oh, yeah. This is a really great replay. This is our director here, actually, Trip, rushing the objective, trying to enter in the code, and he forgets it. He then peeks the corner and decides to opt in to go for 2 kills. Finds them right here nicely, and then this opens up the opportunity for him to punch in the code and get the cap. Finally, he has to go back, memorize the 7 digits, has all the time in the world, a minute on the clock, and puts Cats and the Hats in a tie ball game 2-2. Ultimately, I guess, doesn't really pay off for them in the long run. Idiots with Guns coming out on that one, 4-2.
That's right, yeah. Idiots and Guns with Guns indeed do take Cats and Hats 4-2, which led us into round 2 with Vikings versus Dead Logic. Let's take a look at how that played out.
Yeah, this is a great replay here. Noctum getting a quick double kill on the defense, and we had some fantastic cargo plays here. And I really liked Noctum's positioning. He goes behind that little crate there, and then the quick push up along this alleyway. He knew that there was an attacker down that lane. He had heard the footsteps, and he reacts appropriately off it. And we had some other real interesting plays here. Rexar getting a knife onto Noctum. I love seeing knife plays come off. They're so rare. We just barely caught it on the cams. What we did is he sneaks around the corner and then stabs his opponent in the stomach.
Delicious. That's right. Vikings ultimately take it 4-3 over Dead Logic. I, too, am a fan of knife kills. It takes me all the way back to like TF2 days where you just main spy and start stabbing on people. So seeing it come out in pro play, I remember there was like an early trailer that they pushed out whenever they were pitching Onward. And they were showing a guy just come around getting a knife kill. And we're like, yeah, that doesn't happen in professional play. And then you started to see the professionals get good enough to pull out those knife plays. Even occasionally we see the taser come out as well. So when they do happen, it's a treat.
And I don't want to jump the gun or spoil anything, but there might be some more knife kills in these replays here, if I'm not mistaken. So we got some.
The Challenger Cup is setting up a trend. Speaking of that trend, we're moving on to Silent Purge versus Idiots with Guns. Let's take a look.
Yeah, this is a great insta-kill nade, followed by 2 quick kills, getting Silent Purge, that cargo round. And it's just, these air bursts are so deadly. You can see him cook it there, and as soon as it lands, that opponent's dead. Right on top of him, insta-kill. The smokes come out, and then they push off these smokes so well, getting right up into the action, and it puts... I think they get shut down here, if I'm not mistaken. No, they do get this round. Puts them up 4-0.
That's right. Silent Purge ultimately do take the match 4-2. I also love the air bursts, the air strikes as we call them. I really enjoy watching Globo Kim do it because they're like surgical. Like they do it almost, it's like the same kind of distance almost line up, like they could snipe the guy, but he's just behind cover. And so Arsenic's all like, I think I get them. And he's like, Jordan.
The real fun, my favorite to watch actually is beginners, because some of those guys have a strategy where it's very akin to a beer pong, where you're steadying the elbow and just kind of flicking those nades out to where you want, trying to hit that solo cup, if you will.
Were they the ones that dropped it in that hole on top of the building on Downfall?
I don't know if they were.
That, and I was like, dude, that was 3 points for sure.
Yeah, we'll credit it to him, though, if it wasn't.
Sounds like them. So moving on to Legionnaires versus Stone Cold Killers in round 4. Let's take a look at how this played out.
Yeah, Stone Cold Killers kind of having this trend in this group stage of coming out really hot at the start of the round. And this is James Bauk with a quick cap to start things off for SCK. And I mean, getting caps on this objective, very doable. You get the appropriate picks. You lose that defense over there on that side where he ends up sneaking around and tucking himself into this little area behind that last defender. Good plays from Stone Cold Killers at the start of the rounds. Ultimately, didn't really matter.
Yeah, ultimately they ended up going 4-2 on Cargo. But they did start off one. They got that first win. They got the momentum. We do see that a lot in play, though, that if you come out and get like a really aggressive win, you'll sort of be lazy on your next one. It's almost like it's almost like you get a little cocky. And I've seen a lot of professional players in esports that have, some of them have transitioned over to VR esports and have developed good teams as a result of communicating that information. They say play each round as though no other round happened. You don't want to bring that energy of what happened the previous round, whether you got completely stomped or you got a complete stomp, because it completely will poison your next round. So don't do it. There's like, you just play each round like it is, each one with respect. Even if you completely destroyed a team and your knee-jerk reaction is, I can beat those guys, don't think that. You play them as though every team you're playing is Global Chem, basically, on every round.
I totally agree. You see a lot of teams fall into that trap, where they get comfortable. They feel like they have that 2-0 lead. It's such a big advantage in Onward. You're so close to securing the series.
I do it. We all do it. It's a normal emotional response, and it's one that if you want to be at the top echelons of plays, you have to completely resist that urge. And you watch beginners and you watch Global Chem play, they're like that. They've played the map so much that what came before, what came after is not even a concern. How many points they have up is not even a concern. They are playing this map and they're playing it through. That's why you don't see them like do a lot of crazy rushes and stuff. Well, moving on to Legionnaires versus Mob Squad. That's enough rambling for me. Let's take a look at these clips from Legionnaires and Mob Squad.
Yeah, and one trend you'll notice, Legionnaires keeping up the W's. Kagan here doing the honorable thing, and something you don't see too often when you get an opportunity like this, but he sees the hindquarters of his enemy exposed through the wall, and instead of taking those shots, he instead opts to go to that window and secure the kill for himself. Doing the right thing for sure, making sure that he stays he stays honest with his wins, and it did get Legionnaires the win.
It's really hard just not to walk up to the wall and stab the butt, though.
Yeah, and then this clip we have coming up here is a fantastic one, a great flash from Nolamite.
Here it comes.
And then he instantly storms in, and this is that other knife play we were talking about. Stabs the corpse, and the reason he did that is because now he's stealthed behind enemy lines. As a defender, it's a huge advantage, and it totally slows up Legionnaires.
No, absolutely
doesn't pay off
play
for them, though.
Yeah, you see that? He actually is able to break line of sight as he drops that flash, detonates in the air. As you would normally do when you get flashed in the face, he went prone because he doesn't want to take fire from it, doesn't realize that the guy's actually real close. Dropping a flash real close outside is not a typical move in reality that you would do because it's flash gets you in the ears and the face usually. But it works here in this mechanic, and you put a tree or something between you in most game rules and pretty much any game you play. That's how it rolls.
I can't imagine having my ears getting blasted on every flash in the game, so I'm thankful that that's not a realistic. We're not simulating that
flash
effect.
Only, yes. So that leads us into round 5 with Dead Logic versus Cats in Hats. Let's take a look.
Yeah, and we just had a bunch of really great caps coming out from a ton of squads. This is actually the clip you saw at the intro of the show. A great nade kicks things off for Dead Logic. The kill right on top of objective, and then you'll notice the shield user here rotating around and sticking himself between the capper and that last attack, the last defender. This will kind of force out the shots. He's not going to kill this last defender. He's just buying time for Whale, who's sitting in the smokes, to punch in the code and get them to a 3-2 lead.
It's Dead Logic trying to get that money. Dead Logic ultimately win the series 4-3, very close down to the wire. And it came down to, I think, ultimately them being able to do what they did there. Quick thinking, there's one guy left. Let's go for the extra point. Well played. It's like a 2-point conversion play there at the end of a game. Moving on to Vikings versus Stone Cold Killers. Let's tell us how it went, Nightfire.
Yeah, there's a couple of, sort of good plays coming out from these squads. James Bouquet's kicked things off, waltzing into the objective and putting in a cap. This takes so much cojones, if you excuse my French, to be able to push in there and get a cap like this when there's still defenders alive and you don't even know where they are. But he does. He gets in there and he gets Stone Cold Killers an early lead. And then here we have some great teamwork being displayed. Stone Cold Killers up 3-1, but Vikings staying tight and staying together. And I love to see the Shield teamwork come out right here.
Some mobile sniper's nest.
He really peeks up over and does find a fantastic shot onto Miracle. And like that's just like textbook use of Shield right there.
It's beautiful, but it feels kind of rude.
Yeah, it really is. And I guess if you want to think about some rude plays here, this is an interesting one. The Shield literally just staying in the face of Nick, and then he catches him out. Meanwhile, James flanking on the backside takes out one, and then the chaos ensues on the corner. Shots coming in from both sides, pistol, LMG, and the trade to end it off.
Run by! Indeed. Stone Cold Killers end up taking that map. Bizarre. 4-2. Well done, Stone Cold Killers. That leads us into Challenger Cup Group B, Round 1. This matchup was a pretty rough one for Ember. It started off beautifully, Cap putting them way ahead, but then as we talked before, they maybe got a little cocky with that first cap, and they just kept slipping up again and again until G-Man was able to cap back and win the map overall. Let's take a look.
Yeah, we're going to go right into that cap that kicked things off for Ember, and it was a real shocker to kick things off to start off Group B. You know, I was not expecting Ember to come out so strong, and to start with a 3-1 lead like this, I mean, just a great way for them to open up Group B, and ultimately it doesn't pay off. G-Men do come back, like you said. They do take that map 4-3, but it really forced G-Men to lock it in and focus up right away in round 1.
That early 3-1 in this Challenger Cup where you know what's on the line. You want to get your way in. You want to work your way towards getting into the main show and hopefully earn that golden ticket. So they're like, yeah, we got it, and they're super excited. And as a result, like, you know, maybe you start slipping up a little bit. G-Man ultimately end up winning that series 4-3, which would lead us into round 2. What did you have?
It was what we were talking about earlier, how, you know, you get those early leads and you start to slip up. You kind of lose your focus a little bit. And I think that's exactly what happened. Ember just got a little overconfident.
I'm going to pass on a trick that my mother shouted at us children growing up. Whenever everybody's excited after a good cap win, you just turn to your teammates and say, cheer down, let's go.
Ooh. Ooh, okay, I like that.
Yeah, round 2 of the Group B leads us to French Onward Union versus Big Red 1.
Yeah, and this was literally the highlight of Group B, in my opinion. This is a this is a double kill. This from a full squad wipe out of Toxic. He had a great flash on a corner to kick things off with a kill early. Then he finds another pick, and then he finds these two here. But he'll ultimately end up finding that last defender, and it's a full squad wipe. I've seen it once before. It's so fantastic to watch. Really good job from him to stay focused and not letting that deficit get
Yeah. I mean, especially when you lose a lot of teammates and you know that they're lost and you pull down your tablet, you're like, oh, crap, and you know what's on the line. You got this one map to play. The shakes start to set in. And you know you're crouched down, so your legs are shaking too. You're breathing hard. And at some point, you're hearing your heart beating inside your head. And like, slow down, heart. I need to be able to hear them running towards me. So to keep it, the people that are able to keep it together, that amount of pressure are my heroes, because I totally fold under that kind of pressure.
Yeah, I think it's what makes watching like those top teams compete so fun, because those guys do handle it pretty well. I think that's why they're up there.
I know, and when you're in those tight moments, that's where the first-person perspective shots are the most interesting, because anybody who plays it, they know the sort of tension that's there, so when you can see it from their point of view, you can read it on kind of how they're looking. It's almost like you're inside their head. And there's not a lot of other games where you can get that. Like, you get the first-person position or point of view, but you don't get to really get inside their head because you don't got this business going on.
Right.
So moving into round 3 is the same story as the G-Men match. It started off well for Ember, but they slipped up and slipped up again until Animal House were able to take the round. Let's take a look.
Quokka kicking things off, getting 2 kills, securing Marsoc their first round. It's a bit drawn out here. He does find one early, and then Lipinski is kind of their last bastion of defense for Animal House, trying to hold on, or sorry, for Animal House trying to hold on to the objective. Yeah, but the rotations off the smokes here, that's what pays off for Ember. They toss those smokes, they force the kind of panicked movement out of Lipinski, and ultimately they're going to find that kind of open, exposed shot that they were looking for as Lipinski keeps checking objective and finally gets picked off by Quokka for that double.
Yeah, man, he's just out there all alone trying to find something to do, and you got those smokes coming out, as you said, that covers the rotation before he knows that he's surrounded, and they just pick him off. Catch him with his pants down.
Yeah, really good job of utilizing the smokes to force the rotation here. And then this is a good approach from Switch. He finds 1 kill early, then you'll see the refrag from Wicked on that attempted flank. And now Switch here in tank courtyard is trying to finesse his way into objective. So see him kind of working some nades, throwing some flashes at some point here as Wicked's sort of rotating around. And I think they both, Wicked doesn't know that there's one in tank courtyard yet. But Switch is definitely aware. Yeah, he does. He's and that's why he checks this wall. The nade comes out, that kind of confirms suspicions from Wicked, and then this great rotation that ultimately does pay off for Switch. It's so ballsy to be pushing like this. And I'm not sure why there wasn't any pre-fire on that corner from Wicked, because he should have kind of assumed that the rotation was coming.
It's
but
amazing
a nice
that
kill
he at least
regardless.
rotated out of the way before the grenade came and picked him off.
Yeah, that's very true. It was a very key rotation. As soon as he got out of there, that nade came in. And then here we have Green. This is a bit of a slow build as well. Silent Knight and Co. kind of the whole squad pushing up towards objective. They had good control with some early kills, putting them into a nice 5-3 advantage. But then you have this breakneck sprint
there you go.
from Green Theft. You know, he comes charging in past these tankers right up to the side of objective. That last defender, not even aware that he's lost all of his teammates, that there's no line of sight on the other side of this wall, and it's an easy punch in. Animal House take the map 4-3. This is the worst way to lose.
Yes, it is indeed. As you said, Animal House do take it 4-3. I feel like a lot of that last clip we could have played like the soundtrack "Smooth Operator," as they're just sliding in. He's like, "Yeah, we got it. Ain't nobody gonna stop us now." G-Men took on French Onward Union next, and we have ourselves a clip from that one as well. Bit of a one-sided match, though.
Yeah, I was anticipating this to be a bit more stacked, but we did have some great team coordination and play come out from G-Men here to get them this 4-1 map win, because what you have here is the approach, the prone play from Zach as he's crouching up, and Brass kind of supporting Zach on this inside. He catches one, tosses a smoke to deny vision from that last defender who's kind of really far away.
Much
and then
further than he knows.
secure. Yeah, right. And he doesn't secure the kills. He's just putting some rounds over in the direction of that defender, and it allows Zach to punch in the code and get those two.
Yes, it was well done, perfectly executed. G-Men end up taking French Armored Union 4-1. We got word from Trip that Brassenmouth actually dropped his gun in that clip.
Yeah, I saw him drop, and I think he pushed forward to a dead corpse and picked up another one because he was still putting suppressive fire up over the wall. So he found a gun somewhere.
Yeah. So dropping your gun in a pro match is a pretty rookie move. I think it was like last week we had a clip that was so good from Vivian on Coletto's, where she said she dropped her gun to convince the guy to rush her, and I think she knifed him or she gunned him down or whatever it was. But she's like, "Oh no, I dropped my gun!" And he comes around the corner, and she's like, "Ah, gotcha!" I love those. Or like I think who was it, Jordan, when they threw the grenade and it missed him completely. He's like, "Ah!" And it made the guy laugh, and he gave away his position. Oh man, I love audio play as the proximity audio for everybody at all times. It really does make this game something special. Moving on to G-Men versus Big Red 1. We don't have any clips from this match, but as you might expect from that last map, G-Men actually going 4-1 against Big Red 1. And that ends up ending the coverage that we have so far. Now, the Challenger Cup continued and concluded just right before we recorded this. So we can kind of tell you what happened there, but we're still going to also cover it. So go ahead and reveal it because most people already know.
G-Men taking the first two maps of the series. I believe the overall scoreline 8-3. I think they went 4-0 in map 1 and 4-3 in map 2. So, they carried in there. It was really a toss-up. I didn't know who was going to come out ahead there because Legionnaires dominated their group stage. G-Men dominated theirs. And they definitely came out looking stronger. They had some great fast plays. I can't wait to kind of break that down.
Yeah, exactly. I can't wait for us to take a look at those clips as well, as we'll have a little bit more time to put those together. Also, something to include is that VRL, there was a period of time there that Rome had rolled all the way up into the bracket, and Danglers had met them there as well, and they were going back and forth, and it was a tie game. There wasn't a loss by 2 like you normally get. And for whatever reason, ESL, I think, had incorrectly assumed that Danglers were the winners, so we had ourselves a nonviolent protest. And as a result, the matches are going to continue until we have ourselves a definitive winner from the last chance qualifier or VRL. Well, that is it for us. So thanks to all our players and viewers for supporting the show. Show us some love in the comments and get a conversation going, as this helps the show rank up and get more exposure to people that don't know about the league.
Yes, and keep those clips coming, folks. Even if your match went uncasted, you can still send clips up from the players that are streamed. We're always looking for more great highlights.
That's right. Again, I am Poonanners, joined by VRML caster Nightfire, Nightfree, Nightfire.
We go with that one.
There you go.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me, Poon. Really great job. I like the whole show. It's great.
Yeah.
I
So,
didn't be on here more often.
So as you know, this show is brought to you by VRespawn.com, your only source for VR esports news. So be sure to subscribe to the channel and follow us on Twitter to stay up to date. This episode was written by Buxton with the help of some of our team captains, as well as Trip. He actually dropped in some clips as well. All praise unto Buxton as he suffers at the keyboard so that we don't have to. Triple Nipple, as always, was our director in our heads, giving us the play-by-play. He also produced much of this episode, as we weren't able to use our tools we had developed over the season to do it because we were using different tools to get the round robins going. Finish us off, Nightfire.
Yeah, thanks again for tuning in, everyone. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We've got a lot more action to bring you next week. See you all next week, and good night, everybody.